I'm Lee Partridge and welcome back to a very special edition of Col U TV. I have some exclusive news to share with you on the show today as we unveil the new permanent management team here at Colchester United. And after their excellent performances towards the end of the 21-22 season, Wayne Brown, Joe Dunn and Dave Huzzey have been appointed the permanent management team at Colchester United here at the JobServe Community Stadium. Let's take a look back at some of their best bits before we speak to them. So some quick stats before we bring Wayne Brown in for a chat. The three of them had 22 games in charge, collecting 9 wins and 6 draws in that time. They gave the U's 33 points, an average of 1.5 points per game, with the team netting 29 goals. In that period, their points from the last 6 games was good enough to see a top 7 spot in the form table, mixing it up with teams like Bristol Rovers and Exeter, who of course got automatic promotion. So well deserved then, and we'll be joined by Wayne after this. As you can see, I'm joined now by Wayne Brown. Wayne, thanks for coming in, taking the time out with us. Firstly, how does it feel to get the role on a permanent basis now?
Yeah, I'm over the moon. Obviously, it was a few months back now where I was asked to come in as interim and try and do a job for the football club, which I've really enjoyed. I thought it's been a real positive period over the months that we've had in charge, and obviously delighted to get it on a permanent basis. Obviously very honoured and feel privileged to manage a football club like this.
Your history with the club does go back some time, both playing and coaching, and you've stepped in a couple of times as caretaker boss in the past. Did it feel the same this time, or did you feel that you've learnt more as a coach clearly over the recent years since last time?
Yeah, definitely. The experiences that you have in football can only be a benefit in your journey, in your learning process. And then the things that you've learned from, good and bad, in previous times when you've done the role, you can then take forwards. So I think it's been a massive benefit having experienced the experiences that I've had over the recent years, whether it be interim charge of the first team, whether it be doing the younger age groups in the 18s and the 23s, and again, first team exposure of a level at Malden. Yes, it's different, but you still try and get to know yourself and understand yourself, your philosophy, what you want to try and do, and how you get your points across. And as I said, I think those experiences that I've had in those different roles have been invaluable.
And I guess no matter what level you're coaching or you're managing at, that certain things have to be the same, or the same ethos, no matter what level. Whether we're talking, non-league, whether we're talking Premier League, there's got to be a team togetherness. And you brought Joe and Dave in, who we're going to be chatting with shortly. Was that also part of your thought process, bringing them in, team togetherness, and then relaying that to the team itself?
Yeah, I think it's important that you try and surround yourself with people that want to achieve the same that you want to do as an individual. They've got the work ethic and the work ethos that I've got. And it's important that you get the balance right. Somebody that wants to come in and work hard for me and for the football club. But ultimately, we want to get success together, and we've all got to be singing off the same hymn sheet. And I think both Dave and Joe bring different strengths to this managerial team, which again I think has worked really well in the 22 games that we've had so far.
Talking about those games, if you looked at the table, end of the season, 15, 17 points clear, it doesn't look like a team that at one point, or a club that at one point was teetering at the bottom end of the league. So you must take a lot of pride in that, seeing the turnaround, looking at the final table.
Yeah, very much so. It's definitely been a collective effort. I think there's been a great response and a real good buy-in from the group, and a real understanding of what we want to try and achieve, and the points that we've tried to get into them. Has been quite detailed. I think the demands we've put on the group have been very high, and more often than not, they've stepped up to the plate and tried to deliver. So I think it's been a real good response from the group. But again, it was a really exciting time to come in and work with the group, knowing the quality that we have within the group, and again the professionalism that the lads have got is in abundance. Experience in abundance. They've been at bigger clubs, better levels, and the experiences that they've gained throughout their career can only be a benefit for the group. And I think that's come through on a number of occasions. I think it's been difficult at times when we've probably played well, created many opportunities, and probably not come away with points that we've deserved. But it was about just being positive with the group and explaining that there was a long way to go at that time, and I had full faith in the group that we've got, that we could get enough points on the board to achieve our aim, which ultimately was survival this year. But not only did we survive, we've then sort of kicked on towards the latter part of the season and put some real good performances in, scored some real good goals, created a lot of opportunities, and it's been really pleasing that we've managed to finish on a high. And now hopefully we can take that into pre-season and hit the ground running next season.
And I think in your time back here in the interim, I think we sit in the form table about 9th or 10th we would have sat. And when you come in, did you look at because I think anyone would have looked at that squad pre-season, during the season, first part of the season, would have looked, well, you got the experience in there from some of the players. You've got the younger players in there. From you working with younger players, you can see the quality they've got, and they've really shone this season, especially the second half of the season. And I think a lot of people creating chances, not taking them. A lot of people were looking at that squad, and we'd look at the squad and we'd say, well, how are we not achieving more? Did you look at that and say, that's a great group of players, surely we can get something more than where we are?
I think that's why it was exciting at the time to be given the opportunity to come in that sort of interim basis and take the first 6 games, because I knew all of that. I knew that the experiences were there, good players that we have there. We have some real good young assets to the football club, some real exciting prospects to work with, and ultimately get the best out of. And that was our job, to get the best out of the group that we've had at our disposal, which I think in the main that we've done. The most exciting thing now is we've got an opportunity to evolve together, to develop together, and more importantly to improve together next season, which again is a really exciting prospect.
And from watching games and have seen the connection that may have drifted slightly because of performances or lack of goals, from seeing goals from the connection with the team, and then that crossing over to the fans. Some of the goals, some of the things, Junior scoring here, that at the last minute. I mean, that was just one fun. And you as a coach, and seeing, I say your team in the Greater We, that must have been really good to see, wasn't it? That connection back again.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a massive part of any club's success, having that relationship with the fans, from the players into the fans. But football's universal. It's up and down the country. It's up and down the world. It's if you playing well and you're creating and you're getting success, that people are happy. There's more of a buy-in. There's more of a a feel-good factor. Call it what you will, and that's football. That's football. So it's our job to try and get a level of performance out of the group where we can create opportunities to score goals, where we put ourselves in good positions to win games of football. And then when you are winning games of football, there is a better buy-in. There is happier faces in the stands. I mean, the Ukraine game was brilliant.
Yeah.
In the fact that Robbie sort of, the gesture that he made to give the proceeds to a great cause, but it was great seeing the stadium full.
Yeah, it was
near on full, and there's a great atmosphere there. But then that again sort of kicked on in the last few home games of the season, where we managed to get positive results. The fans saw some goals. The juniors one obviously was a highlight, especially in the last minute.
Yeah.
Again, the atmosphere was great there, but even the away games, Mansfield and Salford's, and the long trips, even the Hartlepool away, that the fans were spot on.
Yeah.
They were brilliant, singing all the way through the game, and it was just the cherry on the cake that young Shay makes his debut and scores a fantastic goal on his debut. And again, the fans go away from that game, a long journey home with smiles on their faces.
Yeah, what a strike, what a goal that was. So now you've been announced and you've got the position. Are you looking at pre-season? Have you put anything into place yet, or is it a bit early to talk about that?
It's probably too late. I think if you looked at it and the season starting earlier,
does that make any difference to how you're thinking with the season starting a bit earlier?
I think obviously that the return date that we have planned for the lads is a lot earlier than what is the norm. But then I think that will be the same for Division 2, Division 1 and so on and so forth that do start earlier than us. It does become a little bit problematic in arranging friendlies, especially against the sort of conference teams and the South Conference teams that you would want to play early in your pre-season, but their season don't start until 2 weeks after our season, so they're not back yet. So finding pre-season fixtures has been a little bit of a challenge, especially trying to do it so late in the day, as where most clubs have already got their pre-season boxed off, if you like. So again, we've been working hard at that for a couple of weeks now to try and get fixtures on board to prepare the lads in the best way that we feel that we can to ultimately start the season the best way that we can.
And talking of players, there'd be movement like any club between now and the start of the season. Have you thought about any areas where recruitment might come in? Any player recruitment or?
Yeah, and again, it's something that we've tried to look at, although we haven't obviously got we had the position on a full-time basis. We still have to do what's right for the football club. We have to try and look at areas where we need to strengthen, where we can improve. But that will be the same again up and down the country. We're going to have to be creative in the way that we do it. But again, that's another challenge. It's an exciting challenge because everyone wants to improve. Everybody wants to move forward and evolve together. And we have now got an opportunity to do that in the summer.
And finally, talking of next season, dare I ask, what would be the target for next season? I know that is that's a real difficult question to answer, but do you sit down with Joe and Dave and say, look, or Robbie, and this is what our aim is for next season? Or is once again that too early to say until you've actually got your squad and you're into the season?
I think it's always difficult setting challenges and targets, because targets have got to be achievable. So until regards to budgets and personnel that you need, as you've just alluded to there, to try and strengthen the squad. Once you've sort of got your squad in place at the start of the season, and the capabilities of other clubs, you can then start setting sort of your sights on targets. But as I said, there's no point us setting targets now if they're unrealistic and they're not achievable, because it's a waste of time. So I'm sure once the season starts, we'll have a better idea as to where we are as a squad, and then we can start setting real goals and ambition and targets.
We'll get you back in when the season starts.
You do that, you do that.
Wayne, great to have you in and speaking, hearing your thoughts, and it's been fantastic since you've come in and seen the turnaround of performances and results. So well done on that, and good luck for next season. We'll be joined by Joe and Dave very shortly after this. As you can see, I'm now joined by Joe and Dave. Welcome to the show. We spoke before, Joe. First time we've had a chat on here, Dave. Welcome. Firstly, congratulations on the appointment, and well deserved, may I say. How did it come about, getting the call from Wayne? I guess it was from Wayne, was it?
Yeah, from a personal point of view, obviously when Wayne took over, he gave me a call, asked me to come in and give him a hand, which, delighted to do. And since then, obviously, it's worked out, and it's been great being back.
And you get the call to say from Wayne about it being on a permanent basis as well, Dave. Was that how that turned out as well?
Yeah, I think similar to Joe in terms of when he got contacted, it was a similar thing when it was permanent as well. Just sort of got let know that our services were required, if you like, and like Joe said, was really pleased to help.
And what I do get from the three of you, and I spoke to Wayne about it, is a togetherness, a team togetherness. And it's good to have three of you working together. And that was something that, again, as Wayne said, that was important, that got carried across to the team this year.
Yeah, I think so. The standards that the gaffer has set are important. We need to do that as soon as we come in. The structure, being solid as a staff, is key as well as the team. So we tried to build that team ethic, and I think overall the manager's done really well to build that club ethos, if you like, and we've got results doing it, so carry that on.
And Dave, you've been working with the under-23s, doing really well up at Newcastle. I went up to the game as well. It's fantastic for the club to have the players playing in front of the lights there, so to speak. So you was already involved, and so you've worked with the young players. Did you see, when Wayne contacted you, what was the level of excitement, or what was you looking forward to? Because we looked at the experience we had in some of the players and also the younger players. For whatever reason, it just wasn't gelling as well as we would have looked at on paper. Was that something you was excited about, working with the under-23s that you knew?
Yeah, I think so. I think the most exciting part was working with some of the senior pros that can be role models to these younger players, and I think they've took that role on really well. For the likes of Col Goose and Brendan Wiradoo, for instance. Brendan hasn't come through. I've worked with him in the 23 squad quite a bit, and then you've got the likes of Junior and Noah, who are I think reaping the rewards of the experiences of some of the senior players. So bridging that gap, I think, was vital. And I think, as Joe said, I think the gaffer's done brilliantly in terms of bringing everyone together and making sure they can learn off their experiences.
And talking about the youngsters and the experienced pros, the second half of the season since you come in, they've really, obviously got talent and good players, but they've really evolved as well, haven't they? Really stepped forward.
Yeah, I think talent needs good experience around it, and experience needs good talent around it also. So both ways, I think you've seen a good mix. I think learning from them is key, and they have to continue to do that. They've got to still earn the right to be in the team. There's plenty of work to do, but any young player aspiring to do well, we've got people in good positions in the club who can help them, and especially on the pitch next to them, which can be the greatest help. So plenty of work to do. Delighted for obviously the young players that have come through, but also delighted for the senior players as well, because they've taken that responsibility extremely well this year.
Yeah, and I think since the three of you came in, again, I mentioned it earlier, would have been sitting about ninth, I think it's 9th or 10th in the form table in a short space of time, in a difficult part of the season maybe. Organisation is something we spoke about, and I know we spoke about it before, Joe. When we talk about organisation, how do we mean it? Do we mean it from on the training ground, we're taking that to the pitch? Do we mean about going to away games so everyone's on time, no one's late, that sort of thing as well?
Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest differences, certainly from my expectations of working with the academy and into the first team, has been the standards that the gaffer and Joe and myself have set in terms of not just the young players but the senior players as well. So I think that organisation off the pitch, if you like, not talking about the football, about making sure our standards are really high and they're going to get higher next season, has been vital. In terms of organisation on the pitch, I think the level of detail that we go into on a day-to-day basis, you can see the proof of that on match day. And I think if you look at the results, barring sort of Exeter and Northampton, where two games that got away from us a little bit, nothing else did. It was only by one goal. And I think that organisation comes from sort of training ground to match day, but also the standards.
And pre-season, it's going to be, you've got a whole pre-season together now, so that's good to plan things and put things together. So you're looking forward to that, Joe. And also, question to both of you, before pre-season, have you got any plans? What are you doing in the summer?
Well, the first thing is we're still in in work mode.
Yeah.
We've got work to do. This is if you like the beginning. I've been in this situation before. We're still in game mode, so we're still looking in terms of where we need to recruit, how we recruit, the type of recruitment. You mentioned organisation, that's key. Getting structures in place. The manager's talking to us all the time and every staff member about organisational structures within their department. So we're trying to build a key structure to be able to give us a platform to try and work on. So the work will continue and it probably won't stop. You might get a day or two where you can relax, but the phone will always be on. So no different.
And likewise for yourself, working with the first team in a pre-season build-up.
Yeah, exciting. Obviously, we've done pre-season with 23s and 18s, but the pressure's different, and I think the scenario is different about making sure we create a winning mentality and a winning team to going into the season. So yeah, excited really.
And look, from someone who's been watching a lot of the games, it's exciting times for Colchester. So I think to get the appointments now, the three of you working together going forward, and let's hope for a great season. Good luck for next season. We'll see you again soon. Thank you very much, Joe and Dave. So there you have it. Your management team is set and ready, or getting things ready for the upcoming 22-23 Sky Bet League 2 season. What do you make of it? Tweet or email us your reaction to this on our social media channels, or of course at media@colchesterunited.net. And speaking of the new season, we'll have some news of the squad taking shape as from tomorrow on another exclusive Col U TV show. So please do join us tomorrow. Until then, have a great day, and it's goodbye for now.